Donald Trump spent the weekend also going after Joe Biden on terrorism. He linked this with the border. He pointed out that Joe Biden's open border has meant that terrorists cross the border, which of course is true.
So in addition to all of his other well-documented offenses, crooked Joe Biden is now also guilty of providing material support for terrorism. Under Biden, there's been a 3,000% increase in the number of people on the terror watch list crossing into our country from the southern border. 3,000%. And that comes from the Border Patrol. Our country is going to pay a steep price for many, many years. This is a terrible thing that's happened.
He's not wrong. Again, more focus on Joe Biden being a bad president is the key, especially because they ain't got no backup. There's a lot of talk right now about what happens if Biden craps the bed in the debate. What happens if he poops himself? Like literally poops himself. Like something so bad happens during the debate that he collapses in the polls. Will they swap him out for somebody like, say, a Kamala Harris? The problem is that person would be a person named Kamala Harris, who's even less popular than Joe Biden for a reason. Here she was explaining yesterday that community banks are called community banks because they're, wait for it, in the community. I know. Shocking stuff here from Kamala Harris.
The importance of community banks is they are as they are called. They're in the community.
As they are called.
Led by members of the community. They are people who understand the capacity of the community, the needs of the community, the culture of the community. They are folks who, unlike the big banks, will see the dream that an individual has for what is possible. And instead of rejecting that dream because maybe it's something they've not heard before, they will listen to it and then give folks advice, including financial literacy advice, helping people know how to run a payroll, how to deal with inventory in a way that they can start a business and sustain that business and grow that business.
Okay, my favorite thing about what she says about community banks, aside from her use of the word community 87 times in about a 27-second clip there, is my favorite thing is when she explains the community banks are wiser than the big banks, which is, of course, why community banks are so wildly profitable compared to the big banks. Or perhaps not. But that is the person who is backing up Joe Biden. Again, the best presidency insurance that Joe Biden has ever had is Kamala Harris in the background explaining, like she's saying something deep, that community banks are called that because they're banks in the community, for the community, like and of the community. She's great at what she does. Wow. An impressive person she is. Here's an eternal truth. Vegetables taste like trash. They're bad. Take Brussels sprouts. What are they? Why are they? Well, you don't really have to know anything about that because you could just use Balance of Nature fruits and veggies. Balance of Nature fruits and veggies is the most convenient way to ensure you get your daily intake of fruits and veggies. Balance of Nature uses an advanced cold vacuum process that encapsulates fruits and veggies into whole food supplements without sacrificing those natural antioxidants. The capsules are completely void of additives, fillers, extracts, synthetics, pesticides, or added sugar. The only thing in Balance of Nature's fruit and veggie capsules are, like the fruits and the veggies. You need nutrients to function at your best each and every day. Balance of Nature helps you do just that. It is, in fact, kosher. And so I have been using that, particularly when I'm on the road. Head on over to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Shapiro for 35% off your very first order as a preferred customer. Plus, get that free bottle of fiber and spice. That's balanceofnature.com. Promo code Shapiro. Get the nutrients you need to keep yourself healthy. Do the smart thing. Head on over to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Shapiro for 35% off your very first order. When it comes to the actual argument that Donald Trump should be making, he should not be the one who's talking about Joe Biden's age. Let everybody else talk about his age. He should be talking about the fact that Joe Biden is a terrible, terrible president, because it turns out that he is. On the economy in particular, he continues to be an absolutely terrible president. And again, when Donald Trump talks about this, it is very good for Donald Trump. So here was Trump over the weekend pointing out the difference between his economy and Joe Biden's economy.
When I left office, we had no inflation. Gasoline was less than $2. The 30-year mortgage was at 2.6%. The border was secure. Wages were rising, and the jobs were the best in the history of our country. For African American, for Black Americans, the jobs were the best in the history of our country. Other than that, what did I do? Not that much. Not that much.
Okay, again, this is what he should be saying in the debate. Joe, you brought us 40-year highs in inflation. People can't make their bills. And that'll force Joe Biden to tell a bunch of lies And it's always the same lies. It's always this stuff about how he created millions of jobs. And at that point, Donald Trump can say, well, no, actually, you didn't create any jobs. In fact, you put a drag on the economy in the form of your massive inflationary economy. The people who created jobs are all the small business people who are getting crushed by your inflation. I mean, what's the response to that even? Janet Yellen, who's the Treasury Secretary, she is still trying to whistle past the graveyard, in the case of Biden, the actual graveyard, suggesting that Americans are better off now than they were under Donald Trump. But again, nobody believes this.
All Americans, both those who are well off and those who are near the bottom of the income distribution, are better off now. Their wages have risen more than prices.
Okay, so no one believes her. No one believes things are going really well. In fact, Bidenomics, what is Bidenomics? So the Biden campaign put out a video of a Biden supporter talking about how great the economy was. Listen to how she describes the economy.
I heard you like ice cream.
Yes. I love ice cream.
I would love one day to be able to have you try some of my ice cream.
I'm the dullest president in America. I'm known for my Ray-Ban sunglasses and chocolate chip ice cream.
All right.
How's business?
It's great. It's really good. I got a lot of opportunities as far as grants and stuff this year. It's really great.
Okay, no, I would like to just point out here, that's not how economics works. If you ask me, how is business this year? I'm going to talk about my customer base. I'm going to talk about how we've been doing an amazing job getting more people through the door in order to buy our goods and services. If your answer to the president of the United States, how is your company doing, is we got a lot of grants this year, that's not your business being good. That's you getting a lot of taxpayer money. But that's how Bidenomics works. We're all supposed to believe that things are going really well because Joe Biden is signing checks that obviously he's not the one paying for. Meanwhile, Joe Biden still hasn't connected anyone to the internet. Remember, there's a big deal about how Joe Biden was going to build with $42.5 billion from the infrastructure bill, high-speed internet for everybody, which of course it turns out is completely unnecessary because technology is developing so quickly that building broadband is probably the way of the past. In any case, FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr on Friday wrote that President Biden has not connected one single American with high-speed internet. Not one. The FCC commissioner wrote, in 2021, the Biden administration got $42.45 billion from Congress to deploy high-speed internet to millions of Americans. Years later, it has not connected one person with those funds. In fact, it now says that no construction projects will even start until 2025 at the earliest. So, really good job there, Joe Biden. Even the grants aren't going out fast enough. Meanwhile, investors are fearing chaos because there's been this long stretch of calm in the markets. And that has basically been predicated not on calm in the markets, but on an underlying tension. You don't know where to put your money. If you're an investor, and I'm an investor, you really don't know where to put your money at this point. Thanks to inflation and thanks to a widespread belief that we are in a sort of stock market bubble, but it's unclear where we go next, thanks to all the hesitation by the Fed, thanks to the fact the interest rates are high, but it's not really having an effect on real estate prices yet, which is strange. There's all sorts of weird stickinesses in the Joe Biden market created by all of the perverse incentives made by the Fed and by the Biden administration spending policies. Because of that, there's a lot of underlying nervousness underneath the market rally. According to the Wall Street Journal, markets are unusually calm, and that's making Wall Street nervous. Investors look sanguine. Analysts say they have good reason. The economy has remained stronger than almost anyone predicted after the Federal Reserve began raising those interest rates. But history shows that periods of extreme market calm rarely last. Part of the problem with a strong economy and calm markets is they create an environment in which investors let their guard down in terms of riskier, more speculative investments in their hunt for fast returns, which is true. It's also one of the reasons why top CEOs, according to the Wall Street Journal, are flocking to Trump again. According to the Wall Street Journal, when Donald Trump won the presidency in 2016, business leaders flocked to meet with him, hoping to tone down his trade policies and populist rhetoric while encouraging his business-friendly tax and deregulation agenda. They are flocking to meet him again. Since Trump vanquished his last major GOP primary foe, more big names from the world of finance have lined up behind him. This week, a range of chief executives listened carefully as he promised more tax cuts and hedged on some of his harshest promises on immigration. Even CEOs like Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan Chase and Bank of America's Brian Moynihan have shown signs of warming to Trump's policies or have spoken out against Joe Biden's. Citi CEO Jane Fraser, Wells Fargo's Charlie Scharf were all in attendance at a business roundtable meeting where Trump addressed the group this week. Again, on the economy, Donald Trump is winning by every available poll. On immigration, Donald Trump is winning by every available poll. According to a brand new CBS Politics poll, 62-35 Americans favor mass deportations. Local police profiling the undocumented, profiling illegal immigrants, according to Mark Caputo. 62-38. 62% of Americans support local cops being able to arrest illegal immigrants. Very few, a minority of people actually want more detention centers. They don't want more detention centers, mainly because they don't want people detained in the United States. They want them to remain in Mexico. So Donald Trump's immigration politics are overwhelmingly popular with the American people. These are like 60-40 propositions. Meanwhile, Joe Biden is preparing to offer legal status to hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants. According to CBS News, a program being developed by White House officials would offer work permits and deportation protections to unauthorized immigrants married to U.S. citizens as long as they've lived in the U.S. for at least 10 years. The proposal, known as Parole in Place, would also open up a pathway to permanent legal status and U.S. citizenship for some beneficiaries by removing an obstacle in U.S. law that prevents those who entered the U.S. illegally from obtaining green cards without leaving the country. Another plan being prepared by Biden would streamline the process for so-called dreamers and other undocumented immigrants to request waivers that would make it easier for them to obtain temporary visas. So in the middle of an immigration news cycle in which we are worried about an open border, Joe Biden is incentivizing more illegal immigration. I wonder why he's losing again. What Donald Trump needs to focus on is Joe Biden crapping the bet on the presidency. That's the thing he really needs to focus in on in a very serious way. Not his age. We all see his age. Don't worry, President Trump, we got this. We can all see it. Please focus all your efforts in the debate and every day up to and past then on the fact that Joe Biden is a terrible president, not because he's mentally incompetent, but because he is just incompetent, period. Are you tired of the lies and the twists of the mainstream media talking points? Yeah, me too. Join me in my newest series, Fact, where I dismantle and bring truth to this tiring mainstream agenda.